Sukkah. Number one, as they brought down in Sfarim, the word Sukkah itself is spelled Samach Vav Chaf Hey, but Vav is basically a vowel. So Sukkah is spelled Samach Chaf Hey, which is the three ways it's possible to make a kosher Sukkah. You can have a Samach, which is 4 walls. You can have a Chaf, which is 3 walls. Or you can have a Hey, which is 2.5 walls. Those are the 3 possibilities about making a Sukkah. Our custom is, and it's brought down also in halacha, is preferable to have 4-walled Sukkah. Even though 3 walls is good, 2.5 walls is good, it's preferable to have, if possible, a 4-walled Sukkah. The minimal measurements of a Sukkah, they're going to sound funny, but it's not so funny because many times it's very, very practical. The minimal measurement of a Sukkah is 7 tvachim by 7 tvachim. A tefach is a handbreadth, which is halachically between 3 and 4 inches. So let's say for Sukkah you want to be machmer, it should be 4-inch tefach. Okay, so a Sukkah has to be 28 inches by 28 inches. It's not that much, it's not that big, but I'll tell you examples where it's very important to know. The minimal height of a Sukkah is 10 tefachim, which is, again, if tefach is 4 inches, 40 inches high. So the minimal size of a Sukkah is 28 inches by 28 inches by 40 inches high. The maximum height of the Sukkah, and the height of a Sukkah does not mean from the sidewalk, it means from the floor of your Sukkah to the schach, cannot be more than 20 ames, which is approximately 30 feet. So you cannot have a 30-foot tall, high Sukkah. It has to be under 30 feet, okay? So like if you make a Sukkah on the roof, you have an apartment building, you're making on the roof, you don't count from the floor, the street level. You count from the floor of your roof, that the height, the minimum height is 10 tefachim, which is 40 inches. Maximum height is 20 ames, which is approximately 30 feet. Where do you have this very practical? I'll tell you where you have this very practical. Very practical. People have balconies, and they want to make a sukkah on a balcony. Now, a lot of times there's an overhang, not from the guy upstairs, but even your balcony, part of the balcony has an overhang of the house. So that's not a kosher area of a sukkah. So now you're left with an open area on the balcony. Okay? And believe it or not, a lot of times it barely measures 28 inches by 28 inches. So if a guy needs to have a sukkah, or they're in between, it happens also many times, you're in between 2 buildings. The guy's in an apartment building, and the only way he's able to make a sukkah is between his apartment building and the next guy's apartment building. And sometimes there's a thin walkway, a narrow walkway. So you have to make sure, these things happen much more than people think they happen, of making a sukkah 28 inches. In fact, there's a famous story with the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov once built a sukkah in a famous non-Hasidic city, a very learned city. He built it minimum requirements, 7 by 7 by 10 tvachim. Why did it then? And all the scholars of the city were coming out and saying it's not kosher. The Baal Shem Tov is not sitting in a kosher sukkah. And the paper came down from heaven and said, Sukkahs Yisrael kosher. Why he did it, I don't know. That's a question for the Baal Shem Tov to answer. But the Baal Shem Tov once made a sukkah mamish, minimal amount, and the thing came out from heaven, Sukkahs Yisrael kosher, and everybody kept quiet. So that's another important din, which a lot of people are unaware of, and it's a very important thing. It can make it or break it in the sukkah. When you have the wall of the sukkah has to be within 9 inches of the ground. The wall of the sukkah must be within 9 inches of the ground. I'll give you an example where you can have a problem with this. You have a canvas sukkah, let's say, right? You have a 10-foot frame, but the canvas is only 8 feet. Now, if you're going to hang the canvas from the top, then you're stuck at the bottom with 2 feet that you don't have a wall. right? And 2 feet is more than 9 inches, it's 24 inches. So that sukkah would not be kosher. It's not a kosher sukkah. What you need to do in that case, and again, as we go on getting more to sukkah, we're going to learn more about the details of the dinim. If you have a 10-foot frame and an 8-foot canvas, you put the canvas down all the way to the floor. So now you're stuck with 2 feet of empty space on top, right? But that's not a problem. Why? Because there's a din that's called